All right. Welcome to the Visionary Success Podcast. Today we have Lewis on the show, and Lewis is an entrepreneur right out of the Gold Coast who is very passionate about self-development and growth. He has a strong passion for fitness and well-being, and first started in the fitness industry when he was 18 years old, working for free for 2.5 years. However, he built and learned the skill set in order to turn his passion into a massive business. He went on to own 3 gyms by the age of 22 and has since developed online programs to help others master their emotions, their finances, and their health. He's currently building the franchises to their capacity, and then we'll look for any new opportunity he can to grow. He's always looking for incredible opportunities within world-class people. And he is just absolutely taking over the fitness industry on the Gold Coast and is blowing it up on the Gold Coast during a financial downturn. So
you made me sound very good. I got to take you on to dates with me so you can make me sound good at networking events. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No worries. I'll talk you up.
Thank you.
Oh, well, welcome to the podcast. I'm super excited to hear about your journey. I was listening to one of your interviews about a couple of months ago, so I'm pumped. But
Cool.
yeah, you worked for free for 2.5 years.
Yeah, most people drop their chin when they hear that. So I came down when I was 18, and I repeated year 12 because I wanted to go to university actually. And I wanted to get started in the fitness industry in year 12, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just called up. I tried to get into the gyms for about 6 months, and everyone kept knocking me back, saying you got no experience. So I'm like, well, why don't I just go work for free? And actually, I don't say it in most of the bios I send through, but I actually paid for the job. So my business partner, and the cheeky boy here, he made me pay the gym membership. So I was paying a gym membership for 2.5 years, and I was running the whole thing. I was working Monday to Sunday. But no, it taught me so much. So it's obviously led to greater things. But I definitely put a bit of hard yards in at the start.
Yeah, wow. So you started PTing out of that gym? You just
No, it was actually a Herbalife gym. It was actually network marketing. So that was my first encounter. Like the person that we know each other through, Morgan. That's how we know each other. So I was a network marketer. I remember my first sale. It was the most awkward, cringiest sale I've ever had. I made like $50 off it. I was a network marketer at the start. So that's I love network marketing for that aspect. It teaches you so much from sales, rejection, marketing, leadership, recruitment. So yeah, my first entrepreneur adventure was through network marketing. Herbalife is a company I was a part of.
Yeah, wow. So that was when you were 18.
Yep. So yeah, that was I came down for work experience as I thought a trainer, but I didn't know PLC at the time it was kind of, you market the training, but you bring them in and get them into the MLM side of things. So it was kind of, because you can't do the marketing in network marketing world. So advertise the training, bring them in, but then help them with the nutrition. That was kind of the business model we had back then.
Yeah, wow. And then afterwards, you've had like massive success after 2.5 years working there. You've gone on to do multiple different things. What's the story been with there?
Well, I guess I was. I've always been into growth. I always wanted to learn more. I've always looked for mentors and people to give me the results I want. I got that through sport. I was a semi-professional sports player growing up, and it blows my mind how people have the answer you're after. You've just got to humble yourself enough to go ask for them. So you've just got to ask for the answers. You've got to go do the work, but the answers are there for you. So I was always looking for something more. I'm always looking for what's next. I'm always looking for a new opportunity. I guess I was working there, and I was always looking for what's next. And my partner who started PLC, he wanted to expand and start to scale and start to franchise the business, because it wasn't a franchise back then. It was the one studio. And he wanted to move on. And so he offered me an opportunity to buy half of the gym, to which I jumped on. He gave me a really good price at the time. And we didn't know what we were doing back then at all. Like we didn't pay any employees because they were all through the MLM side. There was no structures, no systems. It was all done off excitement. Like we used to have sessions of, like we had a live DJ every night. We're having a session of like 120 people come down for one workout. So it was like a party every night. So it was really cool because we were just having so much fun, but we had no fucking clue what we were doing. Like in hindsight now, dealing with like employees, fair work, payroll, lawyers, accountants, and like it was just so. You're what's Cohen Ray says the term all the time. You're the unenthused optimist. Like you're so excited, but you got no clue what's going on. So yeah, we just had a lot of fun. And yeah, I purchased the first one when I was 20. And then within 6 months, we were making enough money. We're like, hey, Scott, my partner, said, hey, mate, let's go do another one. I'm like, fuck yeah, sounds good. Let's go do it. Again, didn't think about it at all. Like just literally that day jumped on Real Commercial, found the building I'm in right now, actually. And I remember I got the keys to it it was a Saturday, and it was my 21st. I was turning 21 on that day, April 2nd, 2018. And I got the landlord gave me the keys on my 21st birthday, which was really exciting. And then we opened that up. Took us a month to get it all set up and opened up. And then I built that up, and that taught me heaps, because you like a lot of business owners, they call themselves a business owner, but you're not. You just own a job, because a real business, you can leave 6 months, come back, and the business has gotten better. But that taught me what a real business is, because I was always doing everything. I was the business, but now having two where you physically can't be in one of them, it teaches you how to scale, how to systemize, how to recruit, how to lead, which has been a really big learning curve for me in the last sort of 2 years. And then an opportunity popped up end of last year, so end of 2019. There was a third PLC that was so the person that was running it, they didn't want to run it, they didn't know how to run it properly, and they said, "Look, Louis, you know what you're doing. Do you want to buy this off me?" I said, "Absolutely, I know what I'm doing, so let's do it." So I took it, got a really good deal for it, to be honest. So an opportunity popped up. Took on the third one end of last year, and then COVID-19 happened. So obviously in the fitness industry, we got shut down overnight, and that space was so big for me, because it was kind of like, if anything, I say to everyone, I'm really grateful for what happened with coronavirus. Because I learned so much. It gave me a really good reality check in how I was operating things in the back end, from my employment contracts to my employee handbooks, my onboarding, my systems, just a real back end gut check of my business. So I had a big reset of the team. So there was some culture issues and some attitude issues that I was facing with the team. So perfect opportunity to do a reset. And now, just building them back up again, and just having fun. And then, and just meeting some really cool people along the way, which is really cool.
Yeah, wow. So you've had like pretty rapid growth for yourself, because how old are you now?
23.
Yeah, so shit. So you were 19 when you started this? 18?
Yeah, so 18 for work experience. I became an owner when I was 20. Keys the new one on my 21st, and had the third one end of 2019 when I was still 22. And I turned 23 in April this year. So had 3 by 22. And since then now I've started to do the online stuff, because I love building a personal brand, as do you. So like literally I've got my tripod here. I was doing videos before we jumped on. I just did a podcast as well. So I just want to build this up and do it with people that I love, and help some people along the way.
Far out. You're so young. My gosh, that's crazy. How's the mental growth been for you throughout that last couple of years? Because you said that you've kind of just done everything without really, like, I guess, understanding like the back ends of business, and you've kind of just winged it. Did you have kind of like some payoff to kind of fix at the end of all of this?
Me and my mate, his name's Scott. He started PLC, and it was just kind of Batman and Robin. We were just having fun. Like, it was just literally, didn't know how to market. We know how to sell, because we were excited, but we didn't know a system around it. But big change came when we obviously invested into ourselves. I'd always been into personal development. Like, I listened to books nonstop. I listened to Tony Robbins. I do a ton of personal development myself. Joe Dispenza. I'm massive on mental health, as you can tell from my stuff. So. But a big shift for us is when we got involved with Kerwin Ray, who's in Australia, that you might know of. And we attended his event. The memory popped up the other day, actually, of our first event down there. And he does nail it and scale it, nail your business, and then scale your business. And it was within 4 years of PLC being around, there was one PLC. 3 years. 3 years of doing it. There was one PLC with maybe, I don't know, 150 members, or I didn't even know. We weren't even tracking it back then, to be honest. We didn't know. And then within 12 months of doing Kerwin stuff, it went within 3 years there was one. Within 12 months there was 10. So 10x in 12 months. And that just came down to the basics, like how to plan. Like, planning is boring as it sounds. Like, what's your purpose? What's your mission? And then what's your 12-month outcomes? And then what's your quarterly, then your monthly, then your weekly, and your daily. As simple as that sound. Like, it's annoying, because my teachers always said at school, planning to fail is failing. Oh, sorry, what is it? Failing to plan is planning to fail. It's like, it's as simple as that sounds. Like an org chart. I didn't have an organizational chart with job descriptions and job titles and systems and process. Like we didn't have any of that stuff. Again, it was just all the excitement, which I think is where a lot of entrepreneurs start, because they find something they're passionate about, they love it, they just kind of dive in head first, and then they kind of get that gut check at some point. We're like, fuck, I've got to actually do this properly, otherwise I'm going to get eaten alive here. And I do really credit a lot of the results I've gotten, or success, if you call it, to Kerwin Ray. He's really helped out on that aspect, especially in that, because there's different stages of your business. When you're in that infant stage, like a child, when you're an infant, you're so much more vulnerable because you don't understand cash flow. You don't have cash reserves. You probably, some people don't have fucking any money or any capital to start with. So you're so vulnerable to things like lawsuits, or if those things pop up, or challenges with suppliers, if you've got suppliers, or just cash flow issues, or coronavirus. Like if Corona happened when 2 years ago, I was not going to be prepared. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So, so really investing into yourself, and that's something I'm massive on. I preach all the time is make sure you've got yourself mentors and coaches who can give you the things that you're missing and bring some consciousness into the things that you're not aware of. So Kerwin Ray really played a massive part in that journey.
Yeah, it's so good. When did you realize that you needed to invest into further self-development? Because I've had mentors myself, and you could probably agree with me. Like, I definitely wouldn't be where I am right now if I did not have mentors. Like, no way. Like, what was like that big moment where you're like, oh shit, I need some more support in my businesses?
If I'm completely honest, Scott, I was really the sidekick, if that's the best way to use it. I was kind of the right-hand man of Scott for a long time. And it was him. He said, hey, look, Louis, let's go to this event, and we'll business pay for it. We'll go check it out. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. I mean, I'm always up for a night. I'm up for things. Like if you say, let's do something, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm in, let's do it. So he said, let's do it. And we signed up. It was a $4,000 event each. And he does it, and he does the whole event. And obviously they upsell you to the next one. It's like 40 grand a year. I'm like, what the fuck? 40 grand a year. What are you going to get in return? I was like, what are you talking about, Scotty? 40 grand for coaching. We don't need that shit, type of thing. But he talked me into it, and he saw the opportunities. Like, man, if we want to go big, we want to do this, we're going to do it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it anyways. And again, I was up for it. But yeah, it's it's kind of the process. Like you're always drawn to what you need. Like you learn what you're ready to learn. So for me, like if I was to get presented with the Kerwin stuff at the start, I probably would have only taken on 10% of it. So going out and learning the skills of sales, going out and learning, overcome rejection, getting better on camera. Like I remember I used to do like 90-day live video challenges just to get more confident on the camera. So if I'd done that at the start, I wouldn't have got the value out of it that I did when I did. So yeah, I do believe the university comes to you and it presents itself to you. So yeah, we went to his cheap $50 event, then we went to his $4,000 event, then we went to his $40,000 event. And but yeah, it's obviously you get out what you put in, and there wasn't anything saying that like, oh, if you don't do this, you won't get there. But we just knew we were just drawn there, and everything happens for a reason. And yeah, it obviously lucky it happened, and yeah, it's given us really the solid foundation of leadership, of structure, of business savviness to actually scale and actually run a proper business, which is good.
Yeah. And being a leader is like, it's quite challenging, as you probably can agree with me as well, of having like a big team because you've got all this staff. What was like the biggest challenges you're facing to be a leader in all of your businesses?
Yeah, it's really the psychology of it. And it's a great question. And there's so many ways you can tackle it. There's so many ways of leading. There's different leadership styles. For me, a thing I really had to overcome was my age. I did use that because I was 21 and I had a team of like 15. I was like, fuck, and I'm the youngest. I'm like, what am I doing? And then I really had some limiting beliefs and limiting stories around having managers, because I had managers that were 33, so 12 years my senior, and I'd never really been in the fitness industry. I did Herbalife, like that was kind of it. So I knew how to get results. So like I knew how to do it. I knew how to make sales. I knew how to get leads. I knew how to run great sessions. I knew how to create an incredible culture. But then really believing in I think a challenge that I definitely had, I do see a lot of other people do it, is they try to become the people that they see. Like you'll see like a Gary V and they try to be Gary V, or you see Tony Robbins, so you try to be Tony Robbins. And I'm definitely guilty of doing that with like say Kerwin or Scott or Tony or Gary, all the people that I've followed and I've looked up to. So the really breakthrough moments I've had is when I've really got clear on who I am, my values, my needs, my wants, my energy, and my style of leading. And when you can get really clear on that and really use your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and just be who you are, and not try to model or just fake it or try to be someone else. Because I'm so guilty of it. I'll see Kerwin do it, so I'll go copy Kerwin. Because I'm looking for the coach to give me the answer.
Yeah.
And there's aspects to that. Yes, learn from someone who's already done it, but don't try to be someone that you're not. So if someone says, okay, practice open, honest communication, which is it's written up on our wall right behind me, up there. We have it written up there. It's like, yes, that's the fundamental thing of how to do it, of what you need to do and what you need to live. But that's not necessarily how you don't have to do it the way they do it. You don't have to do it the way you see someone else do it. You do the way you feel is right for you. Otherwise, you're just going to be someone that you're not. And people will just see the cracks, and you get that as well as I do. Being vulnerable, being transparent, being real. So, I guess number one, I really had to overcome my limiting beliefs around the age thing, because I really did struggle with that at the start. And then two, I wasn't being who I was. I was trying to copy other people that I looked up to. And again, you can learn their strategies, but at the end of the day, you are your own person. You have your own unique set of values and how you communicate and how you connect with it. Like, I'm a quite empathic person. Like, I like to connect. I like to have a cry with my team when we're talking about what their goals and what their needs are and their family. And I like to really get to know my team. I've got partners and I've got friends who are in business who don't really give a fuck about it. They're there to get a job done, and it's more numbers for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's each to their own. But I'm one that likes to connect well. But then I wouldn't say I go too far where I get too friendly, because I do have that other side where I can be very direct. So I kind of float between the middle, where I love to connect, but I love to be very brutal and honest and have an open and transparent conversation. But I was trying to be someone who I wasn't and not embracing who I was. So that's what really had my really big breakthrough. And that's only really 6-12 months. So it took me 4.5 years to get there, where I can just be so certain in who I am, what I'm looking for, what I'm here to do. I'm still learning, obviously. Everyone's still learning. But that was one of the bigger breakthroughs. So doing a lot of work like Dr. John DeMartini, like going through your values. John C. Maxwell around leadership. His is phenomenal. So I just bought another 5 of his books, and I've just started doing them. So I've done his 21 Unrefutable Laws of Leadership. Phenomenal book. So so really diving into that stuff and just making sure don't look at one person and feel like they're like pedestal them and think that it's the only way to do it. Because I'm honest, that's the way I did it with Scott. But then seeing my other friends, because I've made some really cool friends who are really successful in their own space. And just seeing that, like, wow, there are other ways of doing this. This is not the only way of doing things. You can be a little bit more empathic. You can be a little bit more direct. You can do it this way. It's not, oh, he's done it this way, so I have to do it this way. So that was a really big breakthrough for me.
Yeah, I love that. And how's your businesses gone during all of this? I call it the shit show of 2020. Like, how was it going?
I honestly love it. And I've had people come like, fuck, Louis, you must have been so stressed during COVID. I'm like, nah, not really, to be honest. It gave me a lot of time and space to fix up my business, to be honest. It just comes down to, I would credit a lot of this to Kerwin. You just got to manage your emotions and manage the meanings of it. Does this corona mean your business is over, or does it mean you need to adapt and you need to pivot and you need to come up with more solutions and you need to lead your team better? And for me, I really enjoyed it. The only challenge I did have was my landlords. That was the only real challenge I had. One of them was fucking very difficult. But again, that's just the universe throwing me a challenge, saying, Louis, you want to be a big time entrepreneur, you need to learn how to negotiate and communicate better. Here's an opportunity to prove that. So that's just the universe giving me a test to become better. So it wasn't that bad. The JobKeeper helped out. And we might be off topic here, but I don't think the real hard part started yet. I don't think the recession started yet. The JobKeeper and what the government's done is great, but it's just kept the economy afloat. But the burst is coming. The recession is coming. Like, listen to Kiyosaki, Ray Dalio, like, the shit it hasn't even started yet. So anyways, that's a talk for another chat. But honestly, it wasn't that bad. So day one when it happened, it was a Sunday night. Obviously we were going to run the gym Monday morning. So it was Sunday 8 p.m. I think that we got the announcement that the gyms were shut.
Mhm.
So I had obviously 3 gyms, 15 staff members. So the next day, I've got a couple business partners in them. One of the gyms I own all of it, but I've got business partners in the other ones. So jumped on a call them and said, hey, look, this is a situation. We had contingencies in order. So a big thing I would throw out to business owners or entrepreneurs is make sure you've got contingencies, whether that be having cash reserve, so capital reserve, or just having a plan. Like, what is your, so, and again, Kerwin Ray, I keep, it's just shout out to Kerwin the whole time. But Kerwin really instilled this in us. It's like, guys, you've got to be prepared. You've got to have a cash reserve, a war chest, as he calls it. And you've got to be prepared. Like, what is your contingency if shit hits the fan, if this happens or this happens or this happens? So we had contingencies. So we had a blueprint of what is the minimum amount of staff we need to operate and get by. What does that look like? So we went from 15 down to 4. So it was like 1 at each gym plus 1 person supporting all of them. So we had to have the type of conversation, say, hey, look, unfortunately, we are going to be letting you go for these reasons, etc. But yeah, like we had a plan in place and we managed our emotions. I breathed and regulated, and I kept my emotions calm.
Yeah.
And I just had to work fast and had to make it happen. But honestly, I thought it was a bit of a holiday, to be honest. Like I didn't have to wake up as early as I normally do. But again, I probably spent at least 40 hours on the phone to either lawyers, accountants, or we use Employsure, if you know who they are. They help out with the back end of your employment contracts. But yeah, just literally tightening up my business. So it was honestly an 8-week of a tightening up my contracts period for me. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like allowed you an opportunity to go into like a next phase of your business, which is awesome. So so you've launched online as well now. So you're kind of launching a new business as well off your gyms, or you're taking your gyms like online?
Something I'm really passionate about is I love speaking. As you know, I can talk for fucking an hour straight without using words. So I'm pulling myself back a little bit. So I love talking, I love presenting, but I love teaching. Like I got diagnosed with Asperger's when I was really little. I got expelled from kindergarten, so that's quite a accomplishment that I'm quite proud of. So,
what did you do? No, I need to know the story.
I was too young, I can't remember it, but my mum told me I was like pulling the teacher's hair out, I was throwing scissors through at kids and stuff. Like I'm from Norfolk Island, a small tiny island. If anyone knows what it is, just Google it. It's very, very small. Population of I think 1,500. It's between here and New Zealand, tiny little island. But yeah, I was a very socially awkward person, and I got told you're socially awkward and you won't learn properly. The whole story, that label I got given. Yeah. So that's why that void created a high value of mine of learning and developing and also teaching. So I love helping others because like Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life. Like a simple book that taught me about trading time for money and setting your life up. I'm like, fuck, why aren't we taught this like growing up? Like if I knew this when I was 10, my life would be so much further ahead. So I enjoy like seeing that happen for others. And the beautiful part of doing what I do, like obviously we get the before and afters that you can see in the background here, but like I help people physically, but mentally I have so many amazing chats. Like I've got some clients at the moment, I think they're 21 and they've followed my story quite closely, and they're in a job that they hate and they want to do something they love. They want to make more money. They want to have more freedom. So I get the pleasure of just having the chats around the gym and when I see them, but I don't get to go as deep as obviously I can. And I wish I could. So I do podcasting like yourself to give me that ability to share what I've learned and share how I've gotten my results. But I really want to. I just want some tools and systems and resources there to help just educate people. Really, that's it. So it's like I've done one on how to manage your emotions, how to regulate, how to figure out your values, how to align your values, what you do, so you don't self-sabotage and you don't hate what you're doing and you're motivated. You're inspired every day and you don't have to be motivated. Like I love to talk about those things, and I do that through my social media posting, but through like a program and a course, you can obviously go a lot deeper and give them exercises to do, and they can get very practical with it. So for me, it's like I've got my vehicle I'm using to really learn my entrepreneurial skills and learn the things I learned from a book or from a program. So I've got my tools there through the gyms. But at the same time, I wish I could just sit down and chat to someone about their life goals. Obviously, someone who's motivated and wants to do something with themselves. So I would love to do that, but like unfortunately, I've got things to do. So I just do that on the side. It's nothing huge right now. Like I think I've only had like 50 people that have done it, so it's a very small thing. But I just like building it because I would love to when someone at the gym said, "Hey, look, Louis, I saw this the other day. What do you think of this?" Like, I could chat for 5 hours on that topic, but I just can't do that for everyone, unfortunately. So I'm like, look, so this is how it is, because I've done in the space between I was 18 and 22, I invested about $150,000 through personal development, Kerwin Ray, Mark Rolton, Tony Robbins, Kiyosaki, and all the other and the 150 books that I've got. So it's like I've done a lot of development. It's like I just like to cherry pick the ones that have been like groundbreaking, game changing for me, and give that to people. So instead of people having to go, because not many people have that much cash laying around. So instead of them having to go like a half decent personal development event these days, you're looking at least $1,000. Like a UPW with Tony Robbins, at least $1,000. So for me, it's like, well, some people just unfortunately don't have that cash on them right now, all the time to maybe get there, especially with Corona, what's happening now. But like the travel, the time, the resources, it's like, well, why don't I take the best of what I've learned out of that, do it in a really affordable, really practical program that people can do, so it can really kickstart their journey on it. Because as soon as you get started, like I'm sure you did as well, when you started to learn about personal development, it becomes fucking addicting. You're like, fuck, this is sick. Because it's practical. You learn it, your life gets better. Well, if I learn more, my life gets even better. So it's like, it's just there. I just call it a crash course on personal development. I give the best that I've learned from Tony Robbins, from Gary Vee, from Grant Cardone, from Kerwin Ray, from Mark Rolton, from like all these people that have really created the person I am, and give it back to them without them having to fork out tens of thousands of dollars or all this time in travel and stuff. So someone who is like the cheap program I've got, it's like $37. It's like, and it just gives you the basics around goal setting, around your values, around managing your emotions, around like being fulfilled, etc. So that's why I've done it, because I would love to sit down and have that 5-hour chat with someone, but you can't do that on scale. So yeah, that's the reason why I've done it. It's again, it's not a very lucrative thing for me at the moment. This is what I do, lucratively speaking, but it's something that's really fulfilling, because I wish I could just talk to people all day about it. But like I said, it's that's just not what you can do.
Yeah. Well, it could be the small stepping stone to the big picture. You never know where it's going to end up. That's for sure.
Like I would love to. I've got aspirations, and I will speak in front of big crowds. But again, for me, I'm not sure if you can relate to this, but there's so many life coaches out there that haven't done anything. So I don't want to be, I'm 23 and I'm a life coach, but I haven't achieved anything yet. It's like, look, I'm going to build some phenomenal businesses and help a lot of people and make some really good wealth. So then I've got some credibility, rather than, I've watched a Tony Robbins video and now I'm going to change your life. It's like, well, you haven't really, yes, you can learn and repeat something, but have you actually gotten a result to prove it? So that's kind of been my mentality, and that's kind of my long-term plan is to do things like that, speak at big events and be a keynote speaker. I'm getting those opportunities now on smaller levels, which is cool. But yeah, long-term, definitely that. But I really want to get some great results. So you've got some credibility behind you. You're not just someone who's watched a couple motivational videos and try to be a life coach.
Put a label on them. Yeah, I know. So I want to dive into, because you said you've invested over like 100K. And I guess the biggest thing of like, being, I guess, an entrepreneur is investing into yourself. And for anyone that might be listening to this that may be on the edge about investing into themselves for the very first time, what's your take on that? Because that is a lot of money. And I will say that I've invested 45K into myself this year, the biggest that I ever have.
Means your life getting better.
Small as well. I think it was like my first course was like 5,000, I think, years ago. It was a dud, complete dud. But what would you say to people that are thinking about it? Like, how has that dramatically changed your life?
Well, it's like the cliche Jim Rohn quote: "For your life to get better, you need to get better." So I've heard that 1,000 times. So it's just understanding your life right now is a reflection of you, and that might be a bit of a kick in the ass or a kick in the teeth. But if your relationship is shit, it's because you're shit. If your bank account is shit, it's because you're shit. It's like, and that's more the honest side of me coming out. But it's like, you got to call a spade. If your body is disgusting, then that's not your mum's fault. Like, there's parts that genetics can play a part of it to a degree, but there's fundamental things you're not doing. You're not training. You're not drinking water. You're not having enough protein. You're doing something wrong, and that's no one's fault but you. So that's where, for me, that's where I do like to give people a bit of a kick in the ass, where it's like, look, you're broke because it's your fault. It's like, people are born into poverty all the time and then make something out of it. And again, I'm not talking about the 1% of people that are born into like a village and have no opportunity. If you're listening to this fucking podcast right now, you fall into the category I'm talking about because you have opportunities. So for me, the reason I'm so big on it is because if I want the things I want, the reason I don't have them right now is because I don't deserve them. So I need to go do the work, the skills, or get the skills, get this knowledge and the experience so I can have those things. Like if you want to be a great investor, but you've never invested into anything, you need to go learn from someone or you need to go figure it out yourself. But it's a lot less painful and it saves you a lot of time if you go learn from someone else. So it's like, don't reinvent the wheel. It's like the stupid analogy I got told very long ago at the start was you're taking a test and you've got a teacher on your shoulder telling you all the answers to the test. Unless you've got a massive ego, why don't you just listen to them and they can speed it up? You might need to pay them to tell you the answers, which is the cost of getting into it. But wouldn't you rather that than just fucking the whole test up? So that's for me. The test is the analogy for your life. Wouldn't you just rather someone tell you how to look after your finances, or tell you how to look after your health, or tell you how to look after your mindset, or tell you how to have a passionate relationship, rather than you just trying to figure it out on your own? So. Yeah, you just gotta, I guess, make a decision and have a hard look at yourself in the mirror and be honest and first of all take responsibility that yes, this is your fault. It might not be so. It might have not have been your fault, but it's your responsibility for what you're going to do about it. Because responsible means it's your ability to respond. Responsibility, it's your ability to respond. So it's not your fault what's happened to you. If you got beat up, if you had a bad upbringing, if you're raped, if you're born into a bad situation, that's not your fault. But you now have the ability to respond to that. You've got the responsibility. So what are you going to do about it? It's like, look at Erin. I use Oprah all the time in my examples. It's like, look what she went through. And I know you'd know her example as well. Like she was raped several times from family members. She was physically abused. Her mum and dad left her at an early age, orphanage, got fired when she was fat for being fat, overweight, and black. She gave birth to a stillborn child at 14 years old. It's like, fuck, I haven't been through a quarter of that. And look what she's done. So what's my excuse? So for me, I know that's a long answer to your question, but it would be to just be honest with yourself and take responsibility that the only reason your life is where it is right now, it's not because of the government. It's not because of your dad. It's not because of your mum. It's not because of the environment you're in. It's because of you, because you've got within reason, unless you're within the 1% that wouldn't even have access to the internet or clean water. If you're within the 90% of society, it's your responsibility to do something about it. And if you don't know what, again, and that's where you just need to go learn it. Because someone can literally teach you every skill you want. Something I learned from Jack Delosa, one of my other mentors, is everything in life is just a skill. Everything. Like you give me anything, it's just a skill. If you want to make money, it's a skill. If you want to be fit and healthy, it's a skill. You want a great relationship, it's a skill. You want to sell, it's a skill. So everything's a skill, and someone has already mastered it. Just go learn it from them. You might have to pay for it, but wouldn't you rather pay for it than take 20 years to figure it out yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what about for those people that might be listening to this, that, you know, maybe they are in a really bad place right now? And they have no idea where to start. And I'm like, I've been there before and I don't know how I figured out the answers, but what would you have to give to someone that might be looking for the answers or the breakthrough?
Cool. I'd say just reach out would be number one, because I don't know why. Well, I used to be the same as well. Actually, no, a lot of my friends are like this. I've never been like this for whatever reason, but some people think that people don't want to help them. Like if someone sent me a message, I did a poll on my Instagram the other day saying who struggles with their mental health, and I said who struggles with their confidence. I did like 5 in a row, yes or no. I had about 250 people say yes or no to all of them. So I went through and I messaged every single one of them. They didn't know that was coming, but I said, hey, I saw you responded to my my poll about mental health. I just want to see if you're okay. It's like people want to help because people feel good about doing it. And it's like, I know someone helped me and turned my life around, and now that I want to do that for others. So when as simple as it sounds, just reach out to someone that ideally is going to make you feel safe, someone that's a trusted, someone that you trust. That would be my first suggestion is find someone, and it might not be someone you know personally. It might be someone like yourself, Jess. If they're watching this, I'm sure they know what your name is. It's your podcast. It's like, send you a message. If you align with who I am and you get a bit of good vibes from me, send me a message. It's like, Anyone that messages me for a question about help or anything, I take the time to get back to them. Sometimes it takes a bit of time because I got shit on, but it's I make sure I reply to every single message that I get. So for me, it would be really take away the mask or the face or the ego, whatever you call it, and just reach out for help. Someone wants to help you. Like, and again, some people do it for free. Some people pay for it. Like, if as much as I want to send Tony Robbins a message and hopefully he'll reply to me, but probably won't happen. I've got to pay money to get to him. But yeah, there's people out there that want to help. So just send them a message, and even if they don't have the answer, they can point you in the right direction. And that's where, like, for me, when someone comes to me for help, I'm proud enough and I'm honest enough to know what I'm good at. If someone was to come, hey, Louis, I want to be a professional bodybuilder, I'd be like, mate, fuck, I train like 3 times a week. I'm not the right person for this. Like, go somewhere else. I own some gyms. That doesn't mean I'm a bodybuilder. Like, go somewhere else. I'll refer you to someone. I thank you for reaching out, but I'm definitely not the one to help you. But it's like someone says, hey, I struggle with confidence. I'm like, great, let's have a chat. So it's just honestly, just reach out for help, because you'll be surprised how many people actually want to help. The world has definitely got a lot of assholes out there. But it does have a lot of nice people. It has people that care. It has people that like want to give back and want to serve and want to make this world a better place. So just whoever you're vibing and who you feel safe enough, whether that even through a social platform, just send them a message and go from there. That would be my first suggestion. And then on top of that, get into some personal development, free YouTube videos, free podcasting, like what we're doing right now. Start to put good information in here, because this is just a computer. You put a virus into a computer. How does a computer run? Shit. Put a good code into a computer. It runs great. So if you're in a bad headspace, you've just got bad codes going on, bad stories going on. So start to feed your computer with good stories. So that comes from podcasts, from books, from conversations, from mentors, from good environments. So I would say reach out for help and then start consuming some positive stuff like a podcast.
Yeah. I love that. Really good advice. And for anyone, I guess, that's wanting to break it into business or start their own gym or anything, what would be 10 tips to get started?
Yeah, I'm going to have to write this down. 10. First of all, ironically enough, I had a chat with my brother the other day. He hit me up, and he's not the business entrepreneur side of the family. That definitely came to me. But he's a hard worker. He's a great dad. He's an incredible person. I really love my brother. And he said, man, I want to buy this mechanic shop. Like, it's on sale because it's COVID and they want to sell it. I said, bro, first of all, do you want to own a fucking business? Do you know, because he obviously knows who I am. Like, from 18 to 23, I've probably gone out like 5 times, like Saturday night to the clubs. Not many people are going to do that when they're 19, 20 years old. So first of all, it's like Tony Robbins says this all the time at his business mastery event. You walk in there, you paid 10 grand to get there, and full of people aspiring to be business owners or current business owners. He says, first thing, guys, there's a percentage of you that should not be in business.
Absolutely.
It's like, fuck, slap across the face. Like, I know you just spent $10,000. You've just flown all the way to Las Vegas to come see me. Don't take this the wrong way. Some of you are not built for business. Business is a sport where the longer you play, the more likely you die. He says that all the time. So number one, be honest with yourself. So be honest with, do you want to go down this rabbit hole? And then, and with that, what do you want out of it? So I'm writing these down as I go. So,
you're right.
Cool. So number 2, I'd say, what do you want out of it? Do you want to be a billionaire and have jets and shit? I don't. I personally don't want that. Couple $100 million is what I'm aiming for, because that will give me the ability to give back to charity, like give my incredible wealth to my family, like do some amazing things. So I don't want a private jet. I don't want to buy an island for myself. I'm not on that level. Some people are. That's just not me. So what do you want? Is it like, I hope my brother doesn't get too upset on me sharing this stuff. But I said, man, his name's Tom. Tom, what is it that you really want out of this? Do you want to make, like he said, how much do you want to earn out of this? It's like, probably 100 grand. I'm like, man, this business is worth like 200 grand. You've got to have this many staff, this many overheads, this much risk, and you only want to pull out 100 grand, bro. I can show you how to make that online without fucking signing up to a business. I can. So like, what are you doing it for? Yeah. So that would be number 2. Number 3 is figure out what you love first. Because the way I look at it, I don't look at, if you're asking yourself, how do I make money? It's the wrong question. It's, what do I love? And then how do I commercialize that? That's what I would suggest.
I love that.
Number 4 is I would look into mentoring. I would look at that personally first. Get someone to coach you or guide you or mentor you, or just point you in the right direction. And this might be a bit of a curveball for some people. I tell people to do network marketing. Right? So it's one of my number 1 suggestions, because the thing with MLM, and I did it for 4 years. I was making 3, 4, 5 grand a week off it, depending on the week. So like I did all right at it, and that's at 21 years old. So I was doing okay at it. And so, but it wasn't the money, but it's like how confident I became, like how good I understand leads and marketing and sales and recruiting. It taught me how to recruit really well. So it taught me all the skills of an entrepreneur, or a lot of the skills of an entrepreneur, I should say. But without taking the risk of an entrepreneur. Like to start network marketing cost me $80. $80 for business, untapped income. You can whatever access to all the product, etc. So I suggest people, again, if you're fresh to the entrepreneurial space, is look at getting into network marketing. And there's more into that, what companies, what industries, what team to involve with, but that's what I look into. Number 6, shit. I haven't given 10 before. I normally give 3. First thing that comes to me is make sure you're consistent. I see a lot of shiny object syndrome entrepreneurs, where they get all excited. It's a brand new product. It's a brand new venture. It's a brand new thing. And then 6 months, 1 year, 2 years later, they're doing something else. It's like, if you look at the greats, whether that be sports like a Michael Jordan or a LeBron or a Roger Federer, or a business owner like a Tony Robbins, or any of the ones I've mentioned so far, they weren't doing it for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. They're doing it for 20, 50 years. Tony's been doing it for 40 years. That's why he's one of the best on the planet. Look at Richard Branson. He's still doing it, and he's been doing that for like 60 years now. Like, don't get into this.
Get so right? They're just like, they compare, and I've been guilty of that too. Like, I've watched people's journey, and you just get caught up in what their success is now. But you got to realize these people have been doing it for so long. There's a reason why they can speak the way that they speak. There's a reason why they're making the money that they're making. It's because they've had to focus on their skills and become so bloody good at it. And that doesn't happen like overnight. And I think like everyone wants overnight success. Everyone wants overnight success. It's like, that just does not happen. Like, it's like the 1% if you win the lotto. That's not even success of something built.
Do you know how long the average business takes to make $1 million a year?
How long?
17 years.
Wow.
So it's like, hey, I want to be a millionaire. Cool, give me 16 years.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't be fucked. It's like that's most people, because you hear the one-off like special people like Uber who like skyrocketed, or Instagram, $1 billion company in 7 years or something like that. Like, you hear the unicorns that like, oh my God, I'm going to do that. It's like, 4% make it in 10 years. So out of 1,000 businesses, 40 of them remain after 10 years. And 10 years remaining doesn't mean they're making money. It means they haven't thrown in the towel yet. So again, the thing before people get in, I always want to give them a reality check. Like, this is not for everyone. Yeah. Because there's parts of me, there's some days where I'm like, fuck, I'd rather have a job. Don't have to work this hard. Don't have to fucking get paid. You get annual leave, because I've never had a job, like a proper job. Yeah. Like, I was mind blown when I heard about annual leave. I was like, what the fuck? You get weeks off and paid for it? Are you kidding me? Like, that's been a bit of a dick and being naive, but I didn't understand that. That's where Corona happened, and I reset it and I actually figured that out. So, yeah. So, number 1 was be honest. Number 2, figure out what you want. 3, figure out what you love. 4 would be get a coach. Number 5, look at maybe your options would be, and one of them be network marketing, because they would give you a really good perspective of things and give you a really good internship. For anyone that does MLM or people that ask me about it, I say, look, I'm a fan of it. I still take stuff to this day. I take products from network marketing. I don't personally do it, because if you look at the greats, none of them made their wealth through it. Like, they might have used it, or they might invest into it, but they don't do it themselves. So it's a good starting point, but I don't want to sell shakes for the rest of my life personally. So I reckon get into that to give yourself an experience of it and learn a shitload. Number 6, be really consistent. Number 7, geez, I'm trying to think, to be honest.
Throwing you in the deep end here.
I don't know. Do you always do 10? I should have been prepared for this.
I should have rewarded you. Someone asked me this once, and I was like, holy gosh.
Okay, like when you do 3 is easy. 10's a bit harder. I'm writing down really consistently check up on your why and your hunger, because after like comes back to being consistent is like some days you forget what you're doing it. Like I've got mine on the back of my phone, I've got mine on my screen, so I see mine all the time. But there's definitely early on, like 2-3 years into it, like sometimes you forget why you're doing it. You get caught up with the routine, you get caught up in the day-to-day of the business, and you can really forget why you're doing it. Like you're having the long days. Like there was times when I started the second gym, the one I'm at now, and there was times where I slept upstairs because I didn't have enough petrol to get home. There was times I didn't have, like, people are, hey, do you want to come out for lunch or something? Like, oh no, I've got things on, but you say no because you've actually got no money. So you like I've been there where like I just didn't want to be there and I forgot while I was doing it. So really, number 7 would be really check up on your why and why you got started and refresh that, because if you don't do that consistently, you're going to forget why you're doing things. Number 8, I would say something that took me a while to get good at is learn to balance yourself out. Like I am very guilty, go Monday to Sunday, 18 hours, and I can happily do it. But there was times where I wasn't happy, and that would come back to getting clear on who you are and what you love and what lights you up. But give yourself the permission to have some time off. Don't listen to Gary Vee too much, because he will just make you work every second of the day. Again, going back to what I said, what do you want? He wants to buy the jets. He needs like $4 billion. I said I don't want $1 billion. So it's like that. I don't need to do what he's doing. And he's got kids, and he definitely has family time behind the scenes that you don't see. But yeah, find out your balance. What is your balance? But again, because from Gary Vee, I love what he says. Your work ethic, your work ethic needs to match your goal. You can't say you want to be a bodybuilder and train once a week. It's not going to work. It's like if you want to be the top 10 entrepreneurs on the planet, like the Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, if you want to be one of those people, then yeah, you're probably going to be working Monday to Sunday for the first couple of years. Like that's just the reality of it. But once you can get clear, okay, well, what do I want and why do I want that? Why do I really want to achieve that? And then you can structure your life accordingly. Like I give myself time off. Like I've got time off today, but I'm doing this because I love doing this. This is fun. So yeah, learn to really do that. It was probably like late last year I really figured that out. I learned to like really give yourself the time and space to do something that actually recharges those batteries of yours. 9 for me, it's be around the right people, so the right herd, the right people to support you and inspire you. So Kerwin uses the word herd, but like your circle influence, same thing. Everyone says that. And lucky last, I would say have fun. Entrepreneurship's fun. Like if you're not having fun, fucking go get a job. It's less stressful. So
I love that.
Seriously, like how much pressure like this is not spoken much in the entrepreneur space. There's a lot of suicide and mental health challenges in entrepreneurship, because you put yourself under financial stress. You put a lot of pressure on yourself, especially if you put yourself out there on social media. You get a lot of like criticism. So just have fun. Like really enjoy it. Like I love fucking up. If something goes wrong, like I had a challenge this week. It was like an issue with recruiting, and someone left, and it's like, okay, well, great. There's an opportunity to get better. Where's the lesson in that? And if you can really have that optimistic and positive perspective on a lot of things, it makes things a lot more enjoyable. Because if you're just so hard on yourself, it's like, yeah, it's not that fun. So, that would be my top 10.
Have to enjoy the journey. Absolutely have to. I think that's something that even I've had to learn over the last year for sure, is how to enjoy the journey rather than, you got to.
I love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lewis. Your story is absolutely amazing, especially for your age. You should be super, super proud. It's crazy.
Thank you.
It's crazy. But if anyone wants to find you, wants to follow you, wants to tune in with you, where can they find you?
Depending when you're listening to this, the best place would be Instagram right now, just Lewis Huckstep. I'm currently getting the website made, but that was like last week, so it's not live right now, so I don't want to do it right now. But depending when you listen to this, potentially lewishuckstep.com. I've got the domain saved, but I just sent up the website at the moment. So potentially lewishuckstep.com, but if that's not up at the time that you're listening to this, just on Instagram, Lewis Huckstep. That's the main one I use. I do use Facebook, but Instagram's number 1 for me at the moment.
Yeah, awesome. And then if anyone wants to find him, all of his links will be in the show notes of the episode. You'll also be able to find him across my Instagram page. And you'll have no problems with finding this episode. Other than that, thank you so much, Lewis, for sharing your story. You're amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. And you're killing it.
Thank you, Jess. Enjoy your day, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.